who fought alongside U.S. forces already while the U.S. was still there. They need to see that American standing there with them, taking shots with them, advising them right there at the forward lines, knowing that when that America needs air power is going to be there, and that's going to be the difference. Advisors on the ground, helping frontline units, bringing in the air power to strike at ISIS.
It is a very tedious, precarious situation. We thank you for joining us. A lot of hard work ahead, some heavy lifting for the American forces, as well as the coalition that works with us. Lieutenant Colonel Bill Cowan, retired. Thank you for your perspective, sir.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right, Julie.
An alleged domestic assault involving NASCAR driver Kurt Busch. His ex-girlfriend claims the incident happened in September after his poor performance at a qualifying event. She has already asked a court to order Busch to stay away from her. Brian Yennis is live in our New York City newsroom with the details. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Julie. Well, police in Dover, Delaware are investigating these allegations against Kurt Busch stemming from the night of September 26 when his ex-girlfriend, Patricia Driscoll, claims Busch had a bad night at the racetrack and then verbally abused and hit her at his motorhome at the Dover International Speedway. According to court documents obtained by the Associated Press, Driscoll claims Busch jumped up, grabbed her face, and smashed her head 3 times against the wall next to the bed, causing her severe pain and bruising on her neck. The incident happened about a week after Busch and Driscoll ended their 3-year relationship. Driscoll says Busch was despondent, calling her names, accusing her of having spies watching him, and that Busch said he wished he had a gun so he could kill himself. On Wednesday, she asked a judge to order Busch to stay away from her and get a psychiatric evaluation. Now, in a statement from his lawyer, Busch denies the allegations, saying, quote, "The Dover Police Department has been informed that Mr. Busch will fully cooperate with their investigation, and he expects to be vindicated when the entire truth of the situation comes to light. This allegation is a complete fabrication by a woman who has refused to accept the end of a relationship, and Mr. Busch vehemently denies her allegations in every respect." NASCAR says they are aware of the investigation and are actively gathering information. You know, nicknamed the Outlaw, Busch is known for his temper on the racetrack. He is expected to race tomorrow. A hearing for the case is scheduled for December 2nd, Julie.
All right, Brian Yennis, thank you very much.
No problem.
Hey, by the way, I just want to correct a Ron Burgundy moment I had just moments ago. I was talking about remembering the fall of the Berlin Wall, not mall. But, you know, sometimes we shouldn't pay so close to the teleprompter.
As Ron Burgundy
Thank you for that, for whoever put that in there. I really appreciate it. Just don't put a question mark at the end of my name at the beginning of the show, because then I'm really in trouble. I'm Julie Banderas.
Ron, thank you. Okay. Talking about the job picture, we can laugh because we're actually seeing that the job picture is improving.
Yeah, this is actual good news.
It's good news as payrolls increase at a good clip. But Americans are still feeling the blues over the economy, so what's behind the disconnect? We'll talk about that and more.
And a Minnesota prison teaming up with a very unlikely group. We're going to tell you about a touching program that's helping to bring out the best in both parties.
Puppy power.
When you invest your hard-earned dollars, you're looking for a return on that investment, right? You want growth. So how does an average growth of 20% a year sound? And that's over the past decade. The precious metal with that kind of track record is silver.
We're so sure silver is right for you that Lear Capital is holding up to $500 worth of free silver coins for the first 50 callers. Here's 3 reasons why you need to call right now. Industrial demand is growing, investor demand is soaring, and the U.S. Mint is already on pace to sell more silver coins than it can mint. Find out why silver is today's best kept secret in investing by calling 1-800-221-6231. Get your free DVD featuring Chris Martenson, Dave Stockman, and Mark Fauber. Plus, the first 50 callers get up to $500 in free silver. Supply is limited. Call 1-800-221-6231. 1-800-221-6231. That's 1-800-221-6231. Call now.
Save $50 with this limited time TV offer.
Lose weight just in time for the holidays.
Start now and lose up to 15 pounds by New Year's. That's like a whole dress size.
I'm Marie, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Get a jump start with Fast 5. Lose 5 pounds in your first week or your money back guaranteed.
I love Nutrisystem because it's easy and it works. It's as simple as that. I'm Melissa Joan Hart, and I lost 40 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Order your 28-day My Way plan now, and you'll get Fast 5, including 1 week of specially selected meals. Plus, you'll get 1 week of energizing shakes and 1 week of Craving Crusher shakes free. Plus, for a limited time, save $50.
I lost 41 pounds. It feels absolutely amazing to look in the mirror and know that that beautiful woman looking back is me.
There's never been a better time to get started.
This offer ends November 10th.
Call 888-760-SIZE now.
With psoriatic arthritis, I had intense joint pain that got worse and worse. Then my rheumatologist prescribed Enbrel. I'm Phil Mickelson, pro golfer. Enbrel helps relieve pain and stop joint damage. I've been on the course and on the road.
Enbrel may lower your ability to fight infections. Serious, sometimes fatal events, including infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, other cancers, nervous system and blood disorders, and allergic reactions have occurred. Before starting Enbrel, your doctor should test you for tuberculosis and discuss whether you've been to a region where certain fungal infections are common. You should not start Enbrel if you have an infection like the flu. Tell your doctor if you're prone to infections, have cuts or sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if you have symptoms such as persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness.
Enbrel helped relieve my joint pain, but the best part of every journey is coming home.
Ask if Enbrel, the #1 biologic medicine prescribed by rheumatologists, can help you stop joint damage.
I want my hair to stop falling out.
I'm sick of looking at my scalp. I am done with thin, damaged hair.
I need my hair back.
I want the hair I used to have.
I want thick hair and full volume.
Ladies, if you want to regrow thicker, fuller hair, we're about to send you a risk-free trial of Keranique. The Keranique system contains a product with the only FDA-approved treatment clinically proven to regrow your hair, effectively fighting hair loss. This system will give you fuller hair with incredible volume, strength, and thickness. It even prevents breakage and helps repair damaged hair. Women, it's time to be proud and take back your hair. For your risk-free trial, call 1-800-519-7929 in the next 10 minutes. If lines are busy, please try again. But hurry, supplies are limited. That's 1-800-519-7929.
Welcome back. A prison in Minnesota putting its best foot forward, allowing a team of carefully selected inmates to train future service dogs. The prisoners are teaching these canines 100 different commands, and the process not only working wonders for the dogs, but for the inmates as well. The program is made possible by a nonprofit called Can Do Canines. And Julie.
Well, the U.S. job market is on a roll, seeing the biggest stretch of job creation since at least World War II. Employers added 214,000 jobs last month, bringing the unemployment rate down to just under 6%. The stock market also at record levels. And yet, with all of this, where is the economy moving? There is actually word that retail sales are dragging. So what gives? Carolyn Castleberry is a financial author. Why don't you please explain to me what in the world is the disconnect here? It just doesn't add up.
Well, the disconnect happens in the American family because a lot of people are seeing this great news. It is great news. 5.8% is very positive news on the unemployment rate. And for the 214,000 people who were hired, it's fantastic news. But you also have to look at what are the jobs that are being added to the economy. Many of these positions, as we would expect, are seasonal positions. They may be part-time, lower wage positions. So what you're seeing are not exactly the same type of jobs as before the recession.
All right, so many Americans are hearing good news about the economy, like I just went through, but they're not seeing it in their pocketbooks. Why is that? And do we see a change before the end of the year? And maybe if you could look at a crystal ball, I don't know if you've got one there, into 2015, are we going to see a bit of an uptick? Is this going to get better?
You know, I wish I could say yes, looking at the crystal ball. It is clearly a good trend that we're on with unemployment.
Right.
There are factors within the economy that are very strong. What's happening, again, are those lower wages. And the way that we look at work, many of these are independent contractors. You're looking right now at the most expensive season that we're going into. Well, it's the stores, the retail stores, the restaurants, the part-time positions that have been added in many cases to the economy. So what you're looking at are Americans who say, wow, I'm watching the news, I see great financial news, why hasn't this trickled down to my family? They look in their pocketbooks and the money's just not there. The wages are not there.
You know, we talk about the unemployment rate down to 5.8%. That is really, really good. Good news, especially for the 214,000 people who landed one of those jobs. What do these new jobs look like?
Well, you know, again, you're looking at the seasonal employees. So restaurants are hiring at this point. You're looking at stores. Everybody is getting ready for the holiday season. And so you're looking at lower wage positions. Now, for the American family, there is a trap going into the season. And the trap is to buy into all the hype without having the budget to really support this.
Yeah.
So it's very, very dangerous for your pocketbook. You're seeing retail sales that people are still carrying, if you will, financial fear because of the recession. That's something that doesn't just go away.
Yeah, so you have some tips for American families heading into the most expensive season of the year, the holiday season upon us. What tips do you have for families as they enter holiday shopping madness?
Some tips that you're not going to like to hear because I'm going to sound like the Grinch, but number one tip is budget. If you are in one of these part-time positions, for example, or if you've not been able to land the higher paying job that you had particularly before the recession, you have to make adjustments for that. You have to know what's coming in, you have to know what's going out. And for this season, the temptation is to forget about it and say, you know what, I'm just going to bring out the plastic, I'm going to go shopping, and I'm not going to worry about any of this until January. But the problem is, you know, January comes around and all the bills start coming in.
Yeah.
So I would say give yourself a gift this year and have a debt-free holiday season starting right now, and that means planning right now.
All right. Thank you so much. You know, I always say don't spend what you don't have, if possible, because those bills and the interest payments that you're making, a real waste of money. Carolyn, thank you very much. And by the way, Kelly Wright wanted to say hi. You guys apparently are best buds.
We are best buddies.
Best buds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I could get that out there.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you miss my mustache? Remember I used to have one?
No, absolutely
You like
not.
it without the mustache?
Oh, God,
okay,
no.
because it's the month of the mustache. So you may have noticed a lot more men are out there walking around who